The Game Changers Podcast.
That guy, man, I don't like you, honestly, man. Honestly, that guy,
This guy is going to fund us.
he won't, man. He won't. He will put the money under my trust.
For sure. But you know what I like about that guy, right? He showed that he's a true South African. When something is stolen at your house, you don't go to the police, you keep
quiet.
It's a beautiful day in Zanzibar. Remember, we are the people, we are the patient, and moreover, we are the Game Changers. Welcome to the Game Changers Podcast. I'm your host, Mwapi Mikeleta, popularly known as the Prof. And I'm not alone, I'm with my co-host, and they are.
Well, it's your boy Tabang, aka you know, boy. Shay.
Yeah, you know me, it's me, new guy.
But how do you guys name? I mean, last week we had it was in right?
Yeah.
The Zizo.
Yes.
And the new guy, I mean, yeah, that's
New guy, state your full name. My name is Sally.
Okay, guys, my name is Tumelo. His name is Matli, man. But don't call me that. Call me new guy.
New guy.
Yeah. Guys, because since last week we met, it was on the 16th of June.
Yeah.
And since then we have been doing the behind the scenes work, and yeah, it has been fascinating journey. We have been making mistakes, we have been making some glorious moves. And how have you been, my man?
No, man, I've been doing great, man. I don't want to lie. Congratulations to us on posting our first episode. Yeah. How much is it? 63.
Within
63
less than
viewers?
48 hours.
Yeah, 63 viewers. 12 subscribers or 14. Shout out to those 12 subscribers.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
You are the kings.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, man, I've been doing great, man. It's just that the transition that happened over the weekend at Eastern Cape, man, and literally took me by surprise. And based in terms of what we were talking about.
Yeah, and we are going to come to that in our lineup.
Yeah.
And I just want to
doing great.
yeah.
I'm just happy on our first virtual podcast that we posted, our first episode that we uploaded. Yeah, man. Other than that, man, we just need to improve. We've been seeing actually the reviews that we've been getting actually from the listeners.
Yeah.
So we just have to improve. I mean, the sound actually and everything else.
Yeah,
isn't great.
we want to apologize for the sound. Yeah,
We still have a lot actually to work on and improve, because this is just starting phase.
Exactly.
So there's a lot that we still gonna learn along the journey. We're not gonna be perfect as everybody things, but other than that, in terms of the subscribers and the viewers, I'm very happy. It shows that we have something else. We just have to be more consistent in terms of whatever we're going to be doing, and
And for you, new guy,
Hey, man.
how did you see the video, and what was your first maybe feeling after seeing the video?
Hey, man, I was happy, man. Actually, that's why I'm here today. When they see that,
You said you can't wait.
I can't wait. I want to be part of this. Man.
Yeah.
Game changer, man. All the way.
So we the last time we spoke about the youth of 1976 and the youth day, and what have the youth of 1976 have contributed to our country, and how did they lead our country post 1994 and moving forward up until this day. So what are your last remarks with regards to the previous topic?
We talked about a lot of things actually on this podcast. I think maybe because we were nervous and we were just touching base and I think it's probably due to the time production that we met positive actually.
Because we still have the problem with the loadshedding.
We still have loadshedding. Yeah, shit, I don't talk about it too much. I mean, speaking of loadshedding even, I mean, it's the worst time for any entrepreneurs or I mean, a lot of businesses have been affected by loadshedding. I mean, some of us, I mean, a lot of businesses depend on electricity for them to function.
Because we have moved from the physical space to digital one.
Exactly. You know, so there's a lot of people that we move actually. I mean, hospitals actually, people that are sick, that have machines and whatsoever. So what happens if the government doesn't have backup generators in place and whatsoever. So it's just it's stressing. I mean, that you address care.
Yeah.
You know, but in terms of, in fact, I'm glad that I'm able to remember based on your question.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of everything that's happening right now, it's based on the youth of 1976. They're the ones that are actually causing all these problems that we're facing. I mean, think about it. Everything that literally, I mean, think about it, Chief.
Yeah.
Everything that we live up to, it all boils down to politics, potholes, corruption, bad service delivery.
Phalaphala.
You want to
Get to that.
Yeah,
So I mean, you look into what is it? Anything, unemployment, crime, you know, everything, it all leads up towards politics. You know, I mean, the only way for crime for it to be reduced is if there's more, job creations, that are actually more opportunities for businesses to get funding from government. You know, so with that, it's sort of a way like in terms of eliminating crime. But with the high unemployment rate that we're facing, you know, crime is just literally going to increase day to day.
Too much.
You know, I mean, just as last week, here in Shakti, we have a new shopping complex. It's not been 3 months since it opened. It's not been 3 months. I think it's about 2.
So I think you're on month 2 now.
The second month. And it's just been only 2 months. And apparently, not apparently, it happened, it's a fact. It happened in Gold Rock.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
Just last week.
Right. I think so. I was there to pick up the money.
Were you there?
Yeah.
So did you see the scene? I was only told like, did you see? Come
No,
on.
actually, no, I didn't see the scene. There was a tape, so police tape, the airport.
So basically, you just saw.
So
that's what I heard.
You saw after the effect.
After the effect.
Okay. So what happened? I was also there. And what happened is that the way that I heard the story, it was 10 guys. They actually pulled up. It was 2 cars, and then 8 guys actually went into the store, and they robbed everybody in the store, but they didn't take that phone. The phones that they actually took were the phones that Pep had in stock. You know that Pep had 2 cell phones, those Mobicel, the one that So they took all the money and the stock. You know? And here's the fucked up part. You know, as much the human as a South Africans, it's funny about us as South Africans. We're not condoning shit. At the same time, we cry.
No sense.
You know, remember the story that happened of that heist man, that Ora Temple heist.
Oh yeah.
And the security got paid millions, and then he went on to buy Lamborghini. I mean, we were fucking angry due to that. Oh, nigga, why did you buy Kepikanto, Lanyana, Petola, Sisenyana? But it shows that there's crime that we don't condone, but at the same time we condone shit. You know, because we're actually out there giving advice. I think the guy should have just bought land, you know, should have done 6 months look. I mean, we're providing a way actually to.
So what are the things that are relating to that scene and this one that happened just a few days ago?
The scene in terms of the fight, in terms of I think 1976 we were fighting for, still fighting today. Because if you look at in terms of June 1976, yes, there was employment, people being taken to go work in fields.
But they were being paid peanuts.
Yes, they were being paid peanuts. I agree. But if in terms of look at it, they were still actually fighting unemployment rate actually at the time. And since Nelson Mandela took over, the unemployment rate actually never actually decreased. It still increased. You know, through various presidents that we actually got to. You know. And if you actually think about it, we actually have voted for these people and put them in place. You know, and the reason why we voted for these people is because we believed that in 1976, when they lost their blood and when they went out actually to go protest, actually the oppressed government, the oppressor, actually. You know, they were not in unity in terms of a peaceful march. You know, so if we can look at that as today's youth, that we can learn, there's something that we can learn from them. Because back then there was no political alliance, who's doing what or whatsoever. It was unity. They understood in terms of what was the fighting purpose of it. You know, so hence why they were able to actually to make that statement of 1976, and hence why we still grateful, you know, for what they did back then. But in terms of today, in terms of their contribution to us, because they keep saying that we are the future, but whereas we are the now.
So when Mr. New Guy, so what are your thoughts about the 2016 generation of 1976 and their leadership as well?
I think this is a fucked up situation. Excuse me, my
don't mind. That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Yeah, honestly, man. Like, you know, what I wish is that if we can fight to take out the UC, man, I think things will be better. That's the thing. Other than that, we need to work as a one, especially black communities, man. I'm concerned the way we work as divided. If we can have that unity that 1976 had, if one vision, if we can have that vision for empowering ourselves, man, I think things will be better.
But I think we also have challenges because now people are impoverished, and now if you come with only 100 rand and you give someone who is against you, it can easily turn that person's perspective to support you after that, because now we are thinking about our stomachs, rather than thinking about the story that we want to embark on and to fight, you know, so that everyone can be able to live equally and peacefully, whether black or white, you know, because that was a struggle that was fought for, and also the issue of economic inequalities, you know, so that we can improve and become equally as society. So now we are told about.
But I have improved. My question is, have you improved?
We haven't. So this brings me. I have missed this Enyobeni Tavern story. Because because of the load shedding, he has been load shedding since.
But it's coming now.
Since.
How many days have you had electricity?
Yeah.
Since when?
It's about 5 days now.
Jesus.
Because my gas is over, so I'm using cold water, and there's a reality. I'm using cold water, so because of the ESCOM, I don't know what happened. So can you please brief me on what happened at Enyobeni Tavern? What happened actually? Because I get that there were 22 or 21. Okay.
From 13 years, man.
Yeah.
Hey, from 13. What were they doing on the tavern?
No, you know. Genuinely, if you think about it, what happened at Enyobeni, it's very tragic. I mean, condolences to all the families that actually lost.
Actually, it's Enyobeni. We don't want to get sued by Tito Mboweni. Enyobeni. Hey man. Oh, don't say what I was saying. Sateta la bro. From 13 years old.
So think about it. As I said, condolences to the families.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, all my heartfelt respect to them. I mean, no parents should be burying their children. You know. But,
and they are the one, the future.
But besides being them the future, it's Enyobeni, the way that I see, have you been on their Facebook page? No. If you actually go through, if you actually go through their page, you could see it's small kids, you know. And if you look at the place though, it's established, it's seen, and you can see that clearly the parents have always known that their kids go to that particular place. You know,
so that shows the communities are aware.
They're aware of it, you know.
Yeah.
Because look for instance in terms of us, the 90s, we had Wild Bash, we had Bomunanting Cafe, and all of that. We used to attend all those things as young as grade 8. I mean, I remember me, I attended my first beach party. I think I was about 11 or 12 years old.
I remember those days.
You know, and I think for us, it was actually a thing that we had in mind. That, oh, still, I still have to go back home. I mean, it's just that back the time we're not actually utilizing everything. We're not actually taking our shooting, you know, but we also went through that.
But remember Hawkers.
Yeah.
People used to perish there. And more oftentimes than not. You know, we had cases where people perished or people were robbed or people were beaten.
You know.
Yeah.
So the point that I want to get to is that we need to also take and come to the parents also as well, the community, society, because now the transition that it happened.
Yeah.
So now they're talking about say that people that place it's full of young kids, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But the way set up it is, and the way if you actually go on the Facebook page and whatever, you could actually see that it's normalized that it's kids that actually hang out at a particular place.
And by the way, who's the owner?
You know,
I don't know the owner.
Like
I want to touch on the bench. I'm saying small kids, and you know, basically said you parents. You have to get blamed for this.
Exactly, dude.
Because they allow a kid of just 13 years old not to sleep in the house, man.
No, but also, dude, we need to take into responsibility that we tend to lie to our parents sometimes, you know, just to go to gigs and whatsoever. So I think also we must not also blame it onto the mothers, because the mother interested their child because you want to hide you. Right, so same as you go to your uncle, go to your father and say, Dad, I need help with a particular one, two, three. Definitely going to help you because it's doubting because of his son. So you won't question.
But also, I think it goes back to that thing, one hour neighbor.
Yes. But today, that is a chin-chin, you know?
Yeah.
Remember they said it takes, what is it, a village.
Yeah, to raise a kid.
You know?
Yeah.
And today's society has actually changed, because if we think about us like back in the 2000s, your neighbor would actually beat you up if you did something wrong.
Exactly.
You know, but today it's a whole new different story, because if you go beat up a child, you did something wrong. You know, as an adult, you're an elder. You see as you doing something wrong. So it's
part of corporal punishment or chastisement.
Exactly. So that it has kind of like taken that thing of it takes a boy to raise a village, because of
that's responsibility.
Yes, now people are being more concerned whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know. But back to this thing of Enyobeni, when I say actually we need to think about
Enyobeni. You will get us soon.
Yeah, but it's tough, but he knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sorry, my apologies. I'm not closer, so you can't expect my
you can't. You are not. You are also. You are not also.
What is it?
Vendor.
Vendor.
I mean vendor.
Vendor.
Yeah, it's vendor. Yeah. It's a Shanghai or vendor.
Vendor.
I'm not sure.
But you are still so you're still so.
How can Mo see this what is all the way cooking tin fish?
But you can also.
That guy is a chef. Have you seen the way he cooks on Twitter all the time? Why don't you just open a restaurant and we just go eat and do the podcast?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are your however? Finish your
in short, what I want to say is also Enyobeni.
Yes.
Did I say correct?
Enyobeni.
You're almost in your bed.
Erase that M.
Yes. With that, what I wanted to say is that there was no different ways in terms of what we were doing to us, because we were turning Abraham Streets, you know, Val Show and other things, and we'd go as a team, come back, you know, and then we used to hear stories that whoever got raped, and there used to be such things, you know, but it's just that they were never on social media as much as they are now, you know. I mean, for example, if you look at our, I think it was 2015 or 2016, the last event that actually happened, it was at Abraham Street. Remember there was a time they used to do this thing in Mountain 10. So allegedly, not allegedly, I think it happened. That at that particular September, and I remember I was supposed to go actually.
Okay.
But I was broke.
So brokenness
helps sometimes. Saved my life. Saved my ass, bro, you know?
Yeah.
So I think about 14 or 10 kids actually that day lost their lives.
Oh, I think I remember.
Yeah. So those are things that actually keep happening, but just that they never make it out to social media. that much.
But I think what helped also, it was the community also of the valley. We're now fed up because these people are torturing us almost each and every time, especially when it comes to the spring to to summer seasons, especially from September to about next January. We like in another initiation schools like Mabolo and stuff like that. So I think maybe they were becoming powerful or something. They just have that power, so they dominated during those times. But I think it came to the point that...
What do you think about Bolo when you as a person?
You know what? I believe actually it's up to everyone. I'm a Christian. But then I'm a fucked up Christian. That's the thing. I'll say that. Because of sometimes we how do you do we what's it doing? It's okay. No, never mind. Sorry. So religion it's up to you as an individual. Either go and cut your in the hospital or
your what?
Your what you find. So I can believe whole as such. I'm one person to believe if what is a decision now. Because same thing, but never they had choice. I'm gonna be there or I'm not gonna be there. So I won't force you into believing in what I believe. So I always state actually when I be free to a religion because of when I believe out will believe.
But I think for initiation school, the intention was a good initiative, and it was a good that's where I want to start it. It was a good thing in a sense of we want to nurture the young boy and the young girl because check out from which ages. I think the lowest age was about 16 and up until you reach about 21, 21st.
What differs I think
per culture. Yes. But what I want to make is to say it was to teach those young boys and young girls a transition and on how to transition from teenage into teenage adult, so that you can become responsible. Then nowadays it's something like that. That's almost it's the same with the Lobola. It is all about how can we make the means, how can we make the funds out of these children, and in a way we conduct it. It's almost like an abduction, because some of the parents don't know where their children are, where their kids are. They only hear after they have been initiated by the doctor, traditional doctor or traditional healer, and that changed the entire essence and the entire aspect and the purpose of initiation school, So I think that's where it went wrong. And now check who initiates the young boys. It's people who are on their same age. What can you learn from those people? Because they don't even have the experience of life.
For me, I think the bundle of initiation schools, it's a very beautiful thing culturally. So
exactly.
Because if you look at from Marking, Mapegi, Makosa, and whatsoever,
and Basotho as well.
And Basotho also as well. It used to be sort of a way into grouping young men, growing them into being something much more better when you go back to society.
Exactly.
So they used to have a language which they speak at the mountains that actually stays there. That cultures, that things that actually that are being taught at the mountain that actually need to be practiced and for it to be stayed there. And when you come back from the initiation, you come back as a different person. I know that's certain friends that you're not allowed to hang out with. There are certain places that you can't go to. Especially the courses, they're very strict actually about it.
But there was some
problems because of people. Most of them they were dying.
There was few,
but funny now. Do you know that Amakosa, if you don't go to initiations, all of us are men. But if I went to the mountains and Happy went to the mountains and he didn't go, and if you're eating, yeah, so I mean, if as much it does we gathered, come from initiation, apart from this guy, the new guy.
The new guy.
He's not allowed to eat that.
So they isolate you.
Yes, you know. So what is an inkwe or something like that?
Yeah,
so you're not allowed.
That's so the guy. Yeah.
There's another word.
And there was 2 guys from Kozane.
Yeah.
They went to initiation school. Their penis were no longer working.
I'm not lying. I'm right.
It was live on TV, national TV.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Dude, how does your profile talk?
I don't know how they cut them, but then they fucked up them.
Would you suffer for your pay?
2 guys.
Yeah.
And
Would
we
you
survived.
Would you survive without having it?
No, man.
Yeah.
I love
This
I love cheating.
man, African chicks are beautiful, my man.
Or maybe
Yeah.
no, apart from Africa, have you seen the trends that has been happening on what is it? On TikTok, and then Germans are complaining that African men how blessed we are and we are beautiful women.
Really?
Yeah, man.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, we're not in TikTok, so
I mean, apart from that, I
Yeah.
mean, we have Snoop Dogg, man. Snoop Dogg, I mean, he's well known for having bad bitches around.
Yeah.
He's been to each and every country that you can think of. But 50 comments and also women,
yeah.
they complain saying that they've been within women and they fuck each and every woman that you can possibly think of. But when they landed here, Makala,
SA flavor.
Yeah, I mean, Snoop even also got robbed while he was still in Cape Town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got robbed by these colored guys like, I nigga. These people go in so it's just like reaching what it was. But getting back to this thing as I said, for me, it's a beautiful thing culturally, so.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's still necessary for it to be done. I mean, there are better men that are very out there in society for them going to the initiation. You know?
Yeah.
And as you said that, I think for me, the reason why the Bollywood took a different direction, I think it's called the unemployment rate that's actually happening. And there's money,
Not
transactions.
that,
But think about it.
Actually,
Yes, I mean, back in the days, oil Bollywood, there were customs that has to be done.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So and then they have to sort out children to attract ancestors to guide you through. Actually, and also going to both. So one of the ways that you teach you how to connect with ancestors apparently. So I don't know how true is it. And then it's just one of those things that and they have to pay the what is it? Your kanake. What's the word in kanake that? Musui, that's the word.
Yeah.
I forgot what's called in English, but Musui, wow, man.
Yeah.
And he was
the teacher.
The teacher actually, you know. And while you are there, your family is still gonna have to send you food, you know. And maybe one of the family members, they are allowed to come see you. How are you doing?
Especially the one who comes from the initiation.
Especially those who come from initiations.
Yeah.
You know. So now everything, because of due to the unemployment rate, I think people kind of saw that there's money. In that, I mean, it's not much that I can see. They hear them talk with you. Now we see my mom, right? So like, individual home too, but I said see that. Right? So they have to cover to only because of a harmful style.
Yeah.
So now all of that tending to start into gangsterism. You know, because of whatever that they were being taught actually go at the mountains. They bring it to the hood. Especially for me that I went to a government school, public school. You know, right here at Chelsea, where it was just a lot of kids that come from the initiation. And at my school, that thing seemed like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, like 10, 20, like it was turning to a norm as time went on. Because of if you were a guy from my school and you come from the initiations, you're not considered as a cool guy.
You're coming there from Chelsea, all of us.
Oh yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah,
but in different generation, exactly the last one.
I don't know.
But also to move forward, what are your closing or what are your recommendations with regards to Enyobeni tragedy?
I mean, for me, like I said before, condolences to the families.
Yeah.
And apparently it was chemical poisoning that actually killed those two.
So okay.
to no one. So what actually happened, because there are a lot of stories that are coming up on Twitter. Well, what happened is that it was an event that actually happened for Penstown.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
So
in
the kids, I mean, they're crazy. They just finished writing my exams. You did Penstown though.
No, in December.
Yeah,
In December. Like I was breaking the pen. In December, I didn't want to hear anything.
I would braid my out do pants down every 10.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I didn't care what I passed on. All I saw is like instead of that, I'm doing my pants down, you know, because it's just a once in a lifetime moment, you know. Do you know how sad it is? Like when you come back from school, it's a Monday, and then there was an event and people are just talking about it, and you just feel left out, you know, and you just live there like, okay, okay, man, interest, and you just wanna be
just feel left out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, you know what, Thomas.
So back to the months of Enyobeni.
So with that, so the kids were actually out having fun. So apparently that they were trying to close the tab, because you know that with South African.
Around what time?
I don't know, that's the thing, but I think it was within the South African. I think there's a body code that actually allows places actually.
And the place closed around 4, and I mean
2 o'clock in the morning.
See, around 4, not 4.
But isn't that
in that province it's 4?
Because it's based on the bylaws of the municipalities or the states.
Okay, because I think I was like what, two.
This side is 2.
So apparently that's what I'm hearing from one of the stories that I read on Twitter. Looks like it's one of the kids that actually said, who was there? She said that they were trying to close down the place. So there was a coalition that actually happened. Some kids were trying to go in, some were trying to get down, some were trying to get out. So they kind of like tear gassed actually, because if you look at from the pictures, you know, there's no bruises. You know, and some of them are actually, because the first impression that came into my mind when I actually saw the pictures, there was a shootout. You know, like, okay, but I don't see blood.
So you thought it was a stampede?
I thought it was not. What came to my mind, I thought like somebody came with like machine guns. So
like in America.
Marikana shit. Marikana, no America. You know what happened in Marikana?
Yesterday in 2012,
you just, I mean, no.
This guy.
And he has a Phalaphala. That man could have gone to those families.
So when
So the kids actually they got tear gas actually by a chemical called carbon monoxide. So it was actually released today. So we don't know how true it is.
So it's like we're doing science.
So we still I used to feel sad. You know. So it's what happened, you know. So it's very sad in terms of what happened at the.
But what is the way forward?
I mean, the way forward is that we see the problem that we have in the society as South African. And remember, I think about it, just last year, there were videos of kids doing videos of Konga, Mahabi, and all of that, you know. So it shows that we kind of like losing role models in our society, we kind of like normalizing the lifestyle of going out, the Konga vibe. I mean, children are seeing that, you know. So the first thing which they want to do, they want to get into is them being into that space. You know, so for me, I think that it's a good thing that we started this initiative, this podcast, you know, so that we can have, so that we can show what we're discussing, right? So, yes, even though that we are, a generation that are growthist, you know, we still business minded. You know, we end up being growthist because of we don't have any opportunities that actually being presented to us. So what we do over time, we drink. You know, to push time, and then we're not realizing the what is it?
Every second that we lose.
It's like the time that we lose in terms of these useless things that we actually, you know, because people are not well informed. I mean, think about it. We end up having such things as the Enyobeni because of the 1976 youth. Because if you look about, if we had sports facilities that are actually being built around, we had.
And then they are being replaced by the churches.
You know, churches are, dude, churches are fucking taking everything out here. No, chief. I'm not upsetting you, but think about it. Think about it.
You want to let me go to churches in there. Let me go to you guys. You guys, the person who wants to comment with regards to the Enyobeni, tell them.
Enyobeni. Yeah. I would say to the parents and families, lead them well. So it's hard luck what happened to them. No family deserve that, man. But then to young kids, enjoy your life as much as you can. But then have boundaries to your health, to your life. I would say you still have dreams to chase away. But I want to see myself in somewhere in Europe, man. I love England.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that Fifi just trained us and. Oh, Fifi, by the way, welcome to So what we're gonna do? We're gonna finish about the Phalaphala farm.
So we're getting to that.
And after that, we're gonna invite Fifi and new guy. We'll take a break.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So. Let me start with you, Phalaphala farm. What is happening? What is the story? And according to the way you understood and the way you consumed the content over the internet as well as over the TV channels.
Yeah, my man. I'm a pause. You know that guy. I don't like that.
But you said you keep on saying President Zuma behind this when you talk about you. Why are you saying Ramaphosa when you talk about the
you know why?
The current president? I want to start with him. I'm coming to you.
That guy, man, I don't like you. Honestly, man. Honestly, that guy.
Ramaphosa is going to fund us.
He won't, man. He won't. He will put the money under my trust.
For sure.
Even now, I think he's negotiating to get help.
But you know what I like about that guy, right? He showed that he's a true South African. When something is stolen into your house, you don't go to the police, you keep quiet. You keep quiet, you understand the law.
So here's how you see.
I think the other team must make a plan for him, take him out, man. That's only one way, man. If we want to save the country, let RET come back, and we need what we call Ace. Ace must be a president, man. I think if we have Ace, first will be better, man. RET, they had a good vision to bring economic.
So you actually support the slate between the ANC?
Yeah, I support RET.
Let me come back to you, man. What's your view about President Cyril Ramaphosa? Matamela.
Matamela is
Matamela,
I don't even know the man, I'm a youth, you know.
Okay.
I'm literally speaking from total honesty.
Yeah.
From since from day one, I was never actually that much involved in Ramaphosa, but because of due to what he promised when he came actually into office, he came as this well-presented guy who's just he's friends with the whites.
But he asked that you should send me to my
dog.
It's intimidating.
And you don't want to see it.
Imagine, my man.
Actually, yesterday, honestly, on Loadshedding, I wanted to go at least as far as 8. I wanted to see something.
Yeah, you know. So to me, this guy, he came and said, he came up with this new policy that is going to be corruption ending, step aside, for whatever. So if you look at it, he was able to suspend Ismail based on allegations. He was able to suspend the other guys. I forgot the other two.
Including Zolim Keys. He stepped down.
Yes.
Zolim Keys.
I mean, he stepped down.
He stepped down on his own.
I think that lady from there.
And Bombizo Mama.
Yeah.
I remember
I forgot their names.
She got the one.
But she was re-elected also to become.
They call her Mama.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm not much involved in politics.
Politics, yeah, I mean, I understand.
But
Yeah.
makes money.
Yeah.
World of trading.
So yeah, you can finish about Mr. Matamela.
So he came with
Syria.
Cyril. But it's a different country.
Yeah.
So for me, when Cyril came into office, I had my doubts actually about it, and my doubts actually are now to prove that I was actually correct for me having my doubts about it.
What led to those doubts?
look at an unemployment rate. That's actually happened.
But before,
It's now a playing
It
game.
was a part of ANC.
So when he actually came into the office, he came with new dawn, new stuff. The corruption's going to end, and petrol was like what 11 rands or 14 rands actually at the time. Today,
including the inflation.
including, I mean today petrol is still 21 rands, and he still said it's a good president. You know, so how many times did the price of bread increase in the last 5 years?
Too much.
Because under Zuma would actually have price of bread will increase maybe after 2 or 3 years. But with Ramaphosa, everything just went spiking
Exponentially so.
you know. So for me, in terms of a business sense, you know, he's a great businessman.
Really?
He knows how to do business
Really?
in the business world.
Really?
Robert.
But for me, he never even started.
He never built anything.
Yeah.
Yes, he never built anything.
I think he's a good negotiator, not
He's
a
a good
business
negotiator. Yes, he's a good business negotiator. Actually,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why Nelson Mandela, when he became president, he actually left him to go deal with the business sector.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest mistake that we made as South Africans, it was putting somebody in office who was out of politics for 10 years.
No, here's the thing I want to tell you about
Yeah.
that on that. ANC was already losing votes. Yeah? And they needed someone who would be trusted by whites. Their interest was always white.
Yes.
They wanted to bring back the investors because already there were some cries surrounding Zuma. That's why they put Syria. Because there was
What's
no.
fucking us up, dog? I mean, look at where we are today.
ANC had a problem of financial improvement. That's why they were not able to pay their staff.
But
So
that
they
came
create
after
now.
Zuma.
Now. That's after Zuma.
Hence I'm saying,
That's after.
hence I'm saying, they realize that they are fucked up. That's why they bring serious, someone who can trust. Even now,
But my question
even
is-
now you can check. There's no one to, other than Ace, who's powerful. You can't put Paul Mashadi. You can't put the guy
You don't. Dude,
I don't
you're
know.
not in politics.
I know the name, you just not forgot the face. You know,
and the other guy, Unumkaba. Where the man dies. You can't put that guy in it. There's no one who's powerful who will compete with Syria even now when they go to.
Yeah, before we go on, also, let's get back to Phalaphala farm. What's your take?
Yeah, man, I
That's
think that guy should step down. That's my thing.
for me,
Because apparently there was a lady who's claiming it seems like she's the one who gave me information about the money.
Or the domestic worker.
Yeah.
she even got paid to
Yeah,
quiet.
oh, really? Yeah, it was kicked out.
She was no. Okay, let me tell you what happened. You know, so let's break down the story for some of our listeners who don't know what's Phalaphala. So Phalaphala, it's a farm which is being owned by our president, current president,
Your president.
Cyril Ramaphosa. Okay.
Where he is your president, don't you?
Yeah, but he's not my. I didn't vote for the guy, so he's not my president.
But he's taking decision on your own.
Yeah, but I didn't vote for
But
the
you
guy.
don't have a choice. Presidency is all
I
about
don't have a
action.
choice due because of my grandparents and your parents.
Okay, go back.
And your uncle, the dictators.
Go and
The
explain
dictators
this
when you go to the voting, when they're supposed to vote other parties, you
Go
feel like,
back
oh yeah.
to the
You know
story.
what happens with no, I'll tell you this. The problem about the ANC, not as the ANC, the relationship between ANC and South Africans is like that toxic relationship. You know, where the boyfriend keeps beating you up. And then when you have to leave your boyfriend, you keep thinking about the good times, like, So
He's a good
every
guy.
time when it comes to elections, I mean, now they're out there, food parcels and whatever, and they claim Mandela all over.
You're fucked up.
And then our parents will betray us, which it's proper gold then. So exactly,
Yeah.
So the Phalaphala,
Yeah.
it's a farm which is being owned by our current president. It's in Namibia, you know.
It's in Limpopo.
Is it Limpopo?
Yeah, it's in Limpopo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was somewhere in Namibia.
No, they had one of his employees was in Namibia.
She's from Namibia.
Okay. So what happened? So the guys actually knew this fucker. Sorry to say, but this fucker was busy calling out in meetings, telling us there's going to be lockdowns and whatever. He was freaking robbed 60 million at his farm. You know, and that.
But he always
it's only
gets
just
robbed.
2 years. It's only just 2 years after this is coming out.
He always get robbed because remember he said he lost his tablet.
Oh
Remember?
yeah, his tablet. Like you see him going to buy a new one.
Okay. That's my tablet. I put it here.
I put it somebody took my car. It was
Yeah, finish the story.
So for me, I mean, there's a whole lot of questions in terms of how does the president of the country have a large amount of money just sitting in the house? In hard cash, you know. So that gives a lot of questions in terms of what other money does he have to his other properties, you know.
Because if he was an ordinary citizen, it was going to be suspected as a money
laundering.
Yeah.
So all over.
So there's a what is it, a law in the US. So because apparently the US have kind of opened
It's not.
What is it?
It's DA who approach it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who approach the FBI.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
FBI, I think they kind of like going to be looking into it.
But they don't have the jurisdiction.
Do you know what it is?
Remember,
No, they have.
No, they have. Because remember,
Because it's their currency.
It's that currency.
Because of their
It
currency.
matters not. Remember, even if that is the case, you still need to pass through DECO, which is Department of International Relations. You can't skip that.
Okay.
That relationship because we have international relations. We have international law that binds us. So you can't just, even if we had a South African rand that is being manipulated in the US, we can't just surpass the jurisdiction of USA.
Well,
we have to go to the Department of Relations, International Relations. Then after we are counted, then that's where we can allow those people to investigate. Remember, even the case of the Guptas, they had to make a consensus through the international relation with the Dubai or UAE. With regards to and after the government from UAE had granted South Africa that Interpol will be involved so that they can be able to seize.
Let me tell you.
No, I'm not. Remember, I'm not disputing that FBI cannot investigate from this side. But what I'm saying is that you cannot do that without the approval of the state of South Africa, of the Republic of South Africa. That cannot happen. Through DECO, there has to be a consensus, an agreement. Then after they've agreed, that's when the FBI can have the muscle to investigate within the jurisdiction of South Africa. That cannot happen without.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Do you know Pablo Escobar?
What?
Pablo Escobar.
I just heard about him.
Well, Pablo Escobar is the biggest. He was actually the biggest drug lord in Colombia.
The God is recently.
Yes, and he was the biggest drug lord in the whole world. I mean, he's
He was a wanted man.
I mean, the guy was a drug dealer richer than his country itself. You know, and he was actually the one responsible. So if you in the US or back in the early 90s that you were using cocaine, or you were a supply of cocaine, as a 99.9% that product was coming from Colombia, you know. So what happened? Let me tell you the story, you know. Pablo Escobar was smuggling drugs into the US, you know, but it wasn't him personally, but it was his cartel that was actually doing the transaction and the human trafficking actually for him. And what happened is that when the US actually found out that there's a particular guy in Colombia who's doing 1, 2, 3, and he's doing smuggling drugs into our own country, you know. So with that, they're able to go extradite the person from their own country only if with the help, because there was a time where Pablo Escobar kind of like took himself into prison because of like he didn't want to be extradited to the US and be charged with the American laws, because they can do that. Because once you commit a crime in the USA, they have right to come and extradite you because you committed a crime there. Unlike us, because let me tell you something. If you go to jail, if you go to jail and let's say you are in Malaysia or in Indonesia, you know, if you go to jail in Indonesia, you can be able to serve your time and that's it. You're a South African, you know, they can't extradite you. But as a Chinese, you can be able to commit crime here in South Africa and still get extradited back to China and be charged.
Why is that?
You know, so it's the extradition laws. So hence why people in South Africa,
between two countries. That's what I'm saying. Is that
we don't have extraditions. Like for example, you can get how many South Africans are actually arrested in other countries that can be extradited back to home to serve the sentence there at home. I mean, they're far away from their families.
But what
They can do that. They
guys, you don't understand. I'm saying what constitutes that. You can't do that based on your policy only. It has to be between the two
It's not the
countries.
first time FBI investigating someone from South Africa. They did one.
What you are saying is that they didn't inform the South African government.
I don't know what they did.
They can't just play around just like that.
It's that.
They can't. It's
Okay.
Buffet to that. This one I can stand it. We can even go to internet and say this one I'm standing on it.
Yes.
You can't just come into the jurisdiction of South Africa and just do as you please. We are not, even though we don't adhere to our law, to our laws. Let me finish. Let me finish. He wants because it's against him.
I'm not, Mami, listen. I'm not.
And that Ramaphosa
cannot speak for themselves, dog. I mean, the employment rate, the crime, the corruption, it speaks for itself. It's the numbers, the petrol price,
guys,
spiking up and everything.
For me, what is the problem? Is that you give us the story that has been completed already, but you don't give us what happened behind the scene before those people can be able to do whatever that they did in South Africa. You can't, guys, surpass the jurisdiction.
Okay, listen.
Surpass your jurisdiction
Okay,
of international laws.
okay,
There are international clauses.
Okay,
You can't just do that in the
listen.
That's
Listen.
how fair we get.
Okay, I'm happy.
We have to have an agreement.
The point, that I'm saying to you, as you say that there are laws, which is you're correct. One of the laws, in the US, doesn't matter to you. There's a law that if you come into the US or going out of the US, you can't exceed $10,000 in hard cash. So one of the reasons why that's making the FBI to investigate is because of their own currency. Not currency, because of their laws that actually are placed to allow them to investigate. So they only investigate based on the law or the 10,000 or having $10,000 outside the country in hard cash. So that it questions the why are you laughing, bro?
No, the thing, here's the thing that you don't understand, guys.
I think we should leave this one, man.
No, here's the thing that you don't
Just think
understand.
about it.
Here's the thing
I'm not disputing what you're saying.
here's the thing that you don't understand.
Listen, I'm just talking about based on what I read, based on what's happening.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that how true it is, but I'm just saying that what allows them to go extradite, that what's making them to investigate, they're investigating based on these reasons, not because they're going to charge. Right? So they are charging, they're investigating because of there's a certain amount of money that exceeded that was not supposed to go outside the country. So that's the only thing that allows them to investigate.
That's why DA said because of it's a hard cash, we're gonna take the case to FBI.
I just wish if he was here just to support what I did. But here's the thing: the question goes, why each and every country has the constitution, and on each and every constitution of each and every country. In various ways, they allow international laws to partake, but that doesn't mean at any given point you have to agree first. Then that's why Bushiri committed a lot of criminal acts
in Malawi.
This side, and
They can't get them.
no, remember they spoke to the government of Malawi, and it was
How did you escape your country? How did you escape?
No, you see now you are taking the point. You are trying to go to the point, and we something so. But in a nutshell,
Leading us anywhere this one.
Take us for the whole.
no. Let's not analyze based on the surface points that we see and that are being reported to us. But let's investigate our law and our international laws that we are carried upon.
You're there for that, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm telling you, it is possible for you.
We don't know.
No, I'm telling you, it is possible for FBI to investigate this side. But I'm saying it has to go through international relations.
Maybe that's what
So that's
what GA did, man.
But listen, are they investigating right now?
FBI.
Yes.
I didn't follow.
It has been not approved. If that was the case, they would have started by now. But let's leave it to that.
Okay.
We're killing this one.
Yeah. And be brief.
So the guys,
Yeah.
when this guy was busy calling out family meetings, telling us to stay home and whatever, he was busy getting robbed with his farm.
Yeah. You don't resort even.
He's a true South African. He doesn't put fire. That's what I love about that guy. You don't report. Or these are my police.
Yeah.
So everybody was actually paid to keep quiet, even the cleaning lady. She was actually paid off not to say anything about the problem. Even the guys that actually got
It's
away.
a Robert Gordon right, this one.
It's even on bonus, dude. I wish I was part of the team.
Me too, man. Actually, I wanted to go.
You know, so people were actually paid off to keep quiet about the heist, you know. And then only this is coming up after 2 years, and it was by Arthur Fraser that actually came up and posted charges of allegation for that evidence that how it
evidence.
So for me, it's bullshit that a state of the head of the country has a large amount of money in a country with an. I mean, we suffer with an unemployment rate. There's a whole lot of things that we're suffering from. I mean, the price increase of everything.
That's
And
bad,
yet,
man.
it's giving us 350.
He even cut the stuff there.
Exactly. I mean, on top of that, it's giving us 350s.
But what
Whereas
baffles
he
me
has
is
66 million.
what baffles me is why the stuff it's all foreigners.
What?
The staff that was working there. Why are they
Exactly. Questions.
He's a businessman. She blame him.
I mean, that's a fucked up shit. I mean, look, that's way much more fucked up, though. I don't want to lie. You see, and that's one of the reasons that makes me not like the guy even. Everything's not there, dude. Not because I don't like him because of his hang balls, but because the thing that he does. I mean, guys, Marikana into 12, can't forget about that.
Yeah.
You know, so where's the money? He dismantled the mind. The money doesn't exist. And the friend is still waiting for them to be paid out.
Also, why
2,000.
all of these cases are just vanishing just like that? They don't even get to the court.
He got Zondo, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, not Zondo. I mean, he's eating with. I mean, Hampus is a sellout, man. He's from the AE.
Yeah, man, he was in Timber,
Yeah, he's a sellout, man. I'm not sorry, but then it's the truth. It says he's a sellout. He sold our brothers and sisters to the unions, you know. Or like guys, 12,000 or 3,000, it's fine. So he's getting, of course, these guys. That's what he got shares, man, for the wishing to man.
Don't put us into trouble, man.
Yeah, but everybody knows. Okay, how do you explain? What is it? 143 franchises.
Let's leave it there to the game changers to decide. They will comment on the comment section on YouTube.
What do you think about it?
Let's welcome people. Let's welcome people on the podcast.
As I was saying,
Yeah.
welcome
Yeah,
to the so the country's paying to.
Just introduce yourself. Who are you and what are you professionally known about?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rufidre. I'm born in Eastern. Yes, aka.
But you don't know how to rap, man.
I don't know how to rap anyway, but
But what's the name behind KE though? It's Phalaphala, because everybody's not
I think it's also known as.
You don't have the KE on the back. You don't know KE.
I'm just doing the AKA. For the sake of everybody's doing it.
Oh, you're a fan of AKA.
Yeah, I'm a fan of an AKA. AKA, you should not AKA this. It's not that.
Yeah, but how is loadshedding affecting your side? Because I know you are living on the suburbs. So, like comrade, you are struggling.
I have exposure now. I have exposure.
Come on, explain.
No. What kind of exposure?
Yeah.
Don't expose me, yeah. People must not know about.
So, how is the experience for loadshedding in suburbs?
We're also experiencing it as well.
Really?
Yeah.
But is it better as it is with us here?
I
How often
think
do
the
you guys?
situation is worse.
It's worse.
Yeah, I mean,
For
for me.
ours, it's not. It's a matter can go for 2 days if it went for a long time.
And
You
after
go for a couple of hours actually. 2 days.
After how
You can
long?
do 2 days, not something like
Not every day.
it's rare.
It's rare. Yeah.
So it means it is not necessarily caused by the load shedding, but maybe by the power.
Power supply.
Maybe by the transformer issues or something like that.
Now, I think for me it's because of also the workers are underpaid. Yeah, that's one issue that's happening. That's good. And for me, I'm talking about there's a trend actually. I've been training for causing a striking, so that the rest is presenting.
Then how is it guy?
Yeah.
Then how?
No, he's saying that again it's treated.
Yeah.
So now actually they're clashing in terms of saying that I've been dreaming for face behind stage since probably what has been shot for that gym. people not thinking about it. Workers don't because they're not getting enough salary actually from their own.
But also, even before the strike, we were still striking with the
We
loadshedding.
still struggling, but I'm saying that now, I'm saying today, I'm talking about today, in
Yeah.
terms of what was happening in Twitter. You know, people are actually, because they want the face to blame.
Yeah.
You know, and us black people, we are afraid actually to blame and point fingers at the right CEO.
Exactly.
ESCOM.
Director for me has failed like this man.
You know, all these other ESCOM CEOs that were there, they were there for like a year, 6 months, they were gone. You know, even though they were trying to save ESCOM. And the only person that actually saved that ran ESCOM, I think was Brian Leff.
Brandon was a chairman.
What's the other guy's name?
Matsalako.
Matsalako. I mean, those guys, they ran
too much. And we have less loadshedding.
You know,
yeah.
So for me, like, it's just, it's strategic.
And also, just to get in, remember, even the cabinet of Jacob Zuma warned us that we'll be having this problem of load shedding. Hence, they were proposing for the nuclear.
Yeah. Now, I remember that Zuma was actually removed out of office because nuclear is not going to, it's a big investment for the country. Look at us now today. They're now trying to implement the solar thing. You know, I mean, also look in terms of the petrol. When petrol was what, 11 rands or 14 rands, we removed it. But I mean, look at today the price of petrol.
What do you feel about Andrew later, the CEO of ESCOM?
I can't say.
What's your rating? No, like just express yourself. Just give your overview.
The situation is
That's
worse
how
now,
it
but
Yeah.
I don't know, the ESCOM person, I've never went and do the follow-up, but looking at the current situation, how it is,
Yeah.
it has become worse from the time when it was.
Yeah.
At that time, the ESCOM, it still had an issue, but now it has become worse to a point that the electricity is affecting everyone. There are some people who staying without electricity for about 6 months.
Yeah.
I once knew about this. I got it from a friend who's staying around in Shuffles. They said in the area, I think it's also Tepiso
Yeah.
as well. Tepiso phase one. They experienced about 6 months of having no load shedding.
And I agree. Yeah. There are people
I
who.
mean, 6 months of load shedding.
Yeah.
That was the issue. So it shows that nobody cares about this. Nobody cares about the livelihood of the people.
Ordinary people.
Yeah. So it then becomes a problem that people don't get to do the things that they need to do. They're to work, they're to work, they're to take care of their kids. It's even worse now because it's winter. So, yeah.
No, it's bad. It's bad. Like for me, I don't know what was the analogy in inviting Andrew later because, like they were in
It's just there to finish up the
they
job.
were in Nampeg, and Nampeg was performing. Man. It was producing the packages. It was producing the tissues. It was producing all of sort of things that Nampeg is doing. All the activities. It was productive. Then again, Andrew later. The ship sink.
Everything under Ramaphosa is not working. From every point of office, whether it's SOE, whether it's what is it, SAA, all the people that are actually in place that are appointed by Ramaphosa, they're failing, dude. Like, let's just be honest.
And what makes me to
That's
be angry?
I mean, look at, for example, that the very same guy that he placed in SOE when Jacob Zuma fight, what kind of, was it Gordon?
Oh, I haven't got
Brian Gordon.
Yeah,
you know?
Jamlandas.
Yeah, Jamlandas.
Yeah.
From Joshua Door. But Joshua Door was being fired. I mean, Seth was there up in flames defending Gordon actually. Oh man, Joshua Door must be back in office. What he did was unlawful, it's a mistake, blah blah blah, and he was put back in office. And then he was put back in what in SOE. Look at the SOEs that actually Transnet doesn't have money. You know, National Aid Scheme, National that's fast, dude. It doesn't have money to fund students. You know,
So
the Transnet, the ESCOM, I mean, a lot of SOEs, your brasses, they're actually failing closing down their doors under Ramaphosa, dude. I mean, look at it. I believe that we would like to South Africans. I mean, what's happening right now, it's a similar situation that happened in Libya.
Yeah.
I mean, Libya, the economy was doing well. When you're getting married, there was a tax-free loans. When you get married, you get money from the state. Your children were able to study all overseas. Everything paid for. They had a stipend of $2,000. No matter where they are in the country, they would be paid for. And there was a point where the people turned out. Again, they turned against their own leader, said that Gaddafi is bad for your country, whatever. And people, they turned their back on Gaddafi. look at now what's happening 20 years later in Libya. They are in a fucked up state than they were under Gaddafi.
The power of media.
Exactly. So look at us today. We're made to believe that Jacob Zuma is a bad president for this country.
Exactly.
But if you look at in terms of what's happening, corruption and everything else still went up. It's worsened. And now it's a blame game in terms of now still cleaning the mess. It's been 5 fucking years. 5 fucking, how long does it take you to clean up a mess? Because of all that mess that's actually he's claiming to clean happened right under his own when he was a deputy.
I was going to say that it's part of the mess.
It's part of the mess.
Let me interesting himself.
On top of that, it's not that you clean the mess, but you're still in office with the same people that fucked up the office. Freedom always still in office. When he bought back Benny, we were happy with Jani. We feeling safe because of what you told my parent and whatever. But there's been came with the promise of since and no case till this day. Allegedly Kelly. I don't know. But think about it. Each and every state of the country, or whether it's SOEs or whatever, they failing, dude. I mean, also look at the housing. You remember that interview of TJ Makdabani, he was asking Freedom Bani that the president promised people 1 million houses. Freedom Bani is denying it.
Exactly.
That it was never 1 million houses cheap. I mean, how long does it take for public? You know, that's why. Forget it's a fucking, it's just like genius, dog. It's a flip-flop, dog.
The leadership has to change.
It has to. And
it has to change, and there's so many people people who don't belong to that certain position or who are not trained for it, they need to pull out.
So based on that, what you're saying, are you saying we should eradicate this thing of cadre deployment and put the right people in the office? Like if the person has studied the economics, maybe to be the minister of economics and stuff like that, and eradicate this thing of cadre deployment just because you are card-carrying ANC member, then you should be deployed in certain office.
I think that would be best. I think it's best to have somebody in the department of what they qualify for, they studied for, and they can work towards that.
For me,
and they have to be monitored with every movement. There must always be results produced, and they should also report back to the people so that people will know that there is a move, there is a shift that's happening, and this is the results. Evidence is in the table as well.
Your previous leaders, your Nelson Mandela, your Oliver Tambo, or whatever, they were taken to school by the movement. Actually, you go study there so that after we get back, whatever, you'll be able to do this and whatever. So, what is the youth of 1976 preparing us?
I remember my sister was one of the ANC members, and he once told me that they were planning to do a political school where they would educate all the black children about the politics of this country. But even this day, we haven't that school or that university has not been established. Okay. There's
because you know why?
Yeah.
For me, I'm sorry to say this, but white people, the colonizers, they don't wanna. They are happy to see us below. You know. So once they see that we are able to speak ourselves with the right things, you know, being spiritually aligned with your culture, you know, being taught how to connect with your ancestors. Because I think one of the reasons why we are in lost nations is because of spiritually we don't actually work on ourselves. It's all about being seen, going out there and so on, but the rest deep down inside we are dying. I mean, look at, for example, we lost a very deep icon this year. We saw lost in peace. I mean, a lot of people had too many questions with him, and how can a person that has billions, and I mean, his coaching first was very good, the sales, I mean, I mean, you know, I'm not glad that he's the first artist actually to rock coach. He showed a lot of ladies how to coach. I'm not being an artist that can coach because Ricky made it a very normal thing. You know. So people had too many questions in terms of how does a person with all these assets is able to commit suicide because of so do you need to take care of ourselves.
Do you think we are being taught our indigenous knowledge than this westernized knowledge or education that we are being given that is being promoted? Do you think that our indigenous knowledge has been exposed enough so that we don't even blame the...
It's not. Because for example, you can go to an Indian store.
But also it can be argued that maybe there's this debate that what is it? The Christian religion, it's a foreign religion.
Yeah, it is. It's a man-made religion. For me, I believe it's a man-made religion. But however, that is a topic for another day.
So before we close, then, let's touch a little bit on youth, on the current state of the youth, and do you feel like we are motivated enough to do things on our own, or we just need a little bit of stability and motivation from maybe anything else, our leaders, the way we do things? What's your general understanding about the current situation or status quo of the youth and our mindset as youth? Well, what do you think? Anything that we can touch on? What needs to be improved and what needs to be given a chance to act? So what do you think about the general thing about the youth?
I think we should go back to the basics.
Okay.
We have to start first with education. In the first place, why did we have to be educated? Why was education had to be? So, if all the kids, and I believe that it should be supported. So I think our youth need to be educated, not only on the classrooms as well. They can also be educated also on the outside. There are people who are not good when it comes to like thinking, using their brain to write things, test down, but they prefer yes, they prefer doing things with their own hands.
The practical side.
Practical side. Even then, it's supposed to be promoted and it's supposed to be worked on.
Since when you are coming from the varsity, do you think you managed to learn the soft skills from the varsity, or you just had the knowledge about what need to be done at the workplace, but without any soft skills being transferred to you so that you can learn?
I can't say I got the soft skills in varsity, but for me, I got an opportunity at least to do something outside varsity by doing practicals, because I'm one person who's a practical kind of person.
Yeah.
So I prefer to do things and see them.
So that's when
to
you
understand.
understood.
That's when I understand a certain thing. It's like this and that. So it's not kind of helpful to just read and not do the actual thing.
So what's your advice moving forward to the youth?
The advice is to be educated in any way, and also to be supported by the government with whatever skills they have. So the government must not focus on, I want experienced people to come in the job market. You must take the unexperienced people and invite them in, train them as well, so that they can go in that path. But another thing that I've noticed is that a lot of us, we've got educated. A lot of us, we are educated at this time. So a lot of jobs are no more open.
Yeah.
So it's like we are at the space that we need to create jobs with whatever skill that we have. And in order for us to create that, we need somebody to train us, we need somebody to be there to support us in order to make this things possible. Yeah. That's where you're supposed to start.
Before we close, guys, let's give let's give a chance to explain about the NPO that they are running. Please, in 30 seconds, just explain, and just so that you inform the youth of Sharpeville and the youth of Service.
Well, we have an NPO actually based here.
Yeah.
In Sharpeville. It's called Social Youth. Here, it's going to be. It's actually, this is a studio we actually using on the NPO. What we basically do is that we empower people.
Yeah.
What we do is that we do programs for train people to identify which business is suitable for them. And how does Enyobeni works is that if you are a registered business, even if you're not registered, so if you're a registered business, you can even get funding from 1,000 rands.
So that's financial
registered. Unregistered business, they can also get funding from the
So you actually invite all the people from Sharpeville to come in.
Invite everybody else to come actually to our facilities here, or to some show houses, like so shopping complex. Operating from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
So I believe that this is the movement that we're supposed to be doing as youth coming together, able to share skills. And I've never worked in here as a podcast podcast. There's Shaggy, but he's the kind of guy who like all the things. So fuck the government. I'm sorry, but fuck the government. We need to come together as youth. And stop putting too much responsibility into government, because it's been years now.
But NYDA is also
as part of the government.
Okay.
I'm saying.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that in
us coming together.
Where can they find us on socials?
So they can find us on social media. I think how many pages do we have? Is it the link or is it for the NPO?
No, for the game changers.
For the game changers, all guys, our subscribers, for those who subscribe, thank you, man.
Yeah,
I mean, for the 3, guys coming for 3. We still have that's a mile. Too much. We still have a mile to walk. But shout out to our subscribers one more time and our viewers. I hope you subscribe more. So please subscribe to our YouTube page.
Yeah.
And all the
social
handles are actually left.
Yeah.
Like at the,
but on the screen.
The what?
Oh.
You know,
Facebook, yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the game changes. And remember, how do you say it?
You, hey, yeah. Благослови моих братьев, благослови наши руки. Мы в поисках больших денег, мы в деле круглые сутки. Благослови моих братьев, благослови моих братьев, благослови моих братьев, благослови наши руки. Мы в поисках больших денег, мы в деле круглые сутки. Благослови моих братьев, благослови моих братьев.
The Game Changers Podcast.